I didn't stop. Oh, you just gotta wait a second. Either that or you watch it on your phone. It's still it's Techno 37. Yeah. It's called analysis for Sergeant. Yeah. Sergeant, don't worry about resetting your internet. Okay, so okay, I just had to do something. Uh, Sergeant, comment in the stream once you're in, so I know that you're watching. Okay, Sergeant, I can't invite you to the stream. You have to. Oh wait, he's on that type. I forgot. Hold on, I'm gonna leave and join back. Well, Sergeant's net type load. Like, oh my god. Oh. Jesus Christ, Sergeant, yo, nat type. Here, I'm probably just gonna message him. got it. What are you talking about? Kind of glad my stream can't hear you. Sergeant, comment in the chat when you're in here. Your host. Here, I'll just go ahead and make another one. Hold on. No, but you gotta make another one. Yeah. I wanted to clear it out. Okay, Sergeant's in here, finally. Okay. So, let's just look at this match over here.
3, 2.
Okay, so let's just the start. Okay, here. Can I slow this down? No, I can't. Okay, so here you stood still and you dodged. I have no clue why you did this, and you never really want to do this. You either want to dash up and try to do an attack to get your opponent away from the weapon, or just try to get weapon first. Here, you see how you got weapon first? That's your first problem. Also, here. Oh wait, here, hold on. Somewhere around here. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, right here. You dodge, yet he's facing a completely opposite direction. It seems like a pattern that you dodge randomly out of nowhere. You probably want to stop doing that. Here you get the weapon, you do a side light. You do a side light into a recovery. That's not true. That's not a combo. You could have done a side light into, and you could have gained stage control, which is going back on stage and ensuring that your opponent can't get stage. Okay. There you did a side sig. Even though that side sig worked, you never really want to do side sig on stage with Scarlet, as it's so slow and it's so punishable. There, you dodged again for some reason, even though he's completely across the stage from you. I have no clue why you did this either. Okay, there, you did a D-sig, even though he's completely away from D-sig range. Another one. Another one. Okay, so that neutral sig worked. However, on the average person, that probably wouldn't work. Also, side light into D-sig isn't optimal at all, so I have no clue why you did that, but okay. Okay, juggling. Okay, so when it comes to juggling an opponent, you never really want to use SIGs unless you're sure that the SIG's gonna hit. Here, you did an N-SIG even though he's not even near where N-SIG range is. So a pattern that I've noticed with you, Sergeant, is you should try to learn where your moves hitboxes are and where your moves will go, and you also want to practice spacing. There you pick up Lance. You do a Nair. He wasn't even near you, so that's a waste. Okay, you got. I'm pretty sure you got the kill here. There, you wasted a dodge by doing a GC into N-SIG, which could have been a completely dumb decision if you would have decided to go punish him for it. Which he ends up killing himself, but that's his thing. There, you for some reason throw your weapon. I have no clue why you threw your weapon here, because you should, whenever your opponent first spawns, you should try to get as much damage in as possible before they get their weapon, so you can gain somewhat of an advantage, even though you already have one. It's just better to do it. Here, you throw it, but luckily, due to the way that the weapon spawned, you were able to get it. However, in certain circumstances, that wouldn't be optimal at all. There, you did, actually, I won't really blame you for this one, because this one's a lot closer than the others. But you want to look at where your SIGs go more. And I understand that you don't play Scarlet, but if you want to play a character, you have to understand where that character is going and what that character is doing. Okay, here you both did a side SIG. Here you could have done a backwards side light and you could have got the optimal punish, but you just did nothing and you go into another SIG. SIGs after SIGs are not optimal at all, because I mean they're gonna expect it. It's obvious, and plus it's very punishable. So you never really want to do that. Here you did a side light, even though he's not even in the direction of a side light. I had to do something. Anyway, okay, so there, you could have punished him. You could have done a side light, but you do a SIG. Now, even though this worked, you never really want to do SIGs at low percentages, as doing SIGs at low percentages is never really optimal, as it doesn't do knockback. And to be fair, I do this sometimes too, but you just want to avoid it as much as possible. Here you did a recovery. This recovery could have been very bad, as if he punished you, you wouldn't have a recovery, especially if he knocked you off stage. Even though that probably wouldn't happen, you want to be aware of that. Okay, there you did a side light into a down SIG. Now, though he is in somewhat near range, you have to make sure that you know the SIG's gonna hit if you want to do it, because when just throwing a SIG out of nowhere, most of the time it's just not gonna work. It just doesn't. There you do another SIG on SIG, like I said, isn't that optimal, and you never really want to do that. So yeah, try to avoid that. There he did the SIG, which you punish him for, which is a good punish, but then you do a down SIG. Now, when it comes to Lance, obviously side light into side SIG or down SIG isn't optimal, and it isn't true, because it doesn't work. So there, you could have done either a side light Sarah, side light Dare, even a side light Nair if you wanted to. But anyway, there you do another side light, which here you could have done a nair as he's jumping over you, so you won't be able to hit him in time due to how the speed of Lance. There you go with the punish. But then you do another side light, which doesn't, it just doesn't work. Side light into side light doesn't work. Here, I'm just gonna go forward a little bit because I feel like this is taking too long. So we're just gonna go forward later on in the match. Okay, here we'll start like right here. Okay, so first off, gadgets. You don't want to play with gadgets. Gadgets are just like annoying. So next time you play ranked, go to your settings, turn off gadgets. Also, if you really want to, turn on tournament maps. Tournament maps are just better. Anyway, there you did a side sig. I assume that you try to get a jump read. However, he has no reason to jump here, as there's just no reason to. So really that wasn't really there. Luckily he didn't punish you. However, he could have if he was well aware of what you just did. There you phase through him. There you do another side light, which I won't give you that much discredit for, as he does a sig, which is unexpected. Then you do a neutral sig or a GC neutral sig in the air in an area where he's not even there. Again, like I've mentioned before, this is not optimal. This will never land, no matter what you do. He's not in the sky. He's on the floor. So you really shouldn't be using that sig whenever he's on the floor. Here you do a side sig, even though he's above you, isn't optimal. Here you could have done either a nair, or you could have turned around and done a neutral sig, or just something that hits aerial, but you do a side sig, which could have gotten you punished. As you can see here, luckily his spacing was a little off, so you didn't get hit. However, this could have been really bad for you. Here you dodge, which, I mean, if he was doing a nair, it would be understandable, but you just dodge for no reason. Let's see. Here, you know, you're kind of jumping around. You're playing a little floaty. Here, you could have punished by doing, okay, what you do punish? Oh, nope, okay. You could have done a dare here, and you would have easily hit him, which could have led into, say, a combo, which is like side light dare, something like that. Just a string, just a simple combo or string that could get him. Here he does a spike. I don't know why he did that, but anyway. You throw a bomb, which, like I said, gadgets aren't good, so turn off gadgets. Here, you did a dare. He's nowhere near dare range, as dare on hammer has a very small hitbox. So if you want to ensure dare landing, you probably want to do a stomp into turnaround dare in order to ensure that you hit it. But you were a little off, which he punishes you for. So just be aware when it comes to hammer of what dare and dare's hitboxes. Here, okay, I have no clue why you did this. You do a GC N-sig. A GC N-sig in the middle of the air where he's not even there. I assume that you believe that this is a sense of floating. However, that's not optimal at all, as he could have easily took advantage of the fact that you used both your dodge, or actually just your dodge, and could have easily knocked you off stage. Here, you do a side light or a reverse side light, yet he's not over there. He's not off stage. He's not on the edge. He's completely away from you. It would have made more sense if you would have done a side sig over towards his direction, as it could be such as a jumping read, or not a jumping read, a landing read. but that just didn't make sense. Here you get punished. Oh wait, no you don't. Never mind. Never mind. Here you do another Ensig. Now, when it comes to Scarlet's Ensig, it's more optimal when you're like say directly, like say you're like almost on the edge or you're almost on stage, but you're okay. So basically, you're in grass area. You basically, if your opponent is just camping edge, you want to use GC Ensig when you're near that grass area, as the extra smoke in Scarlet's moveset just does more damage. Not does more damage, but adds more hitboxes. So just be aware of that. Here, he does another side sig. You could have punished him with a side light if you just... Okay, what you do, however, your spacing was a little off. You might want to work on your spacing, and this kind of ties into hitboxes too. You want to be aware of where your moves go and what situations you can land them in. I understand the thought process, however, the execution was a little off. Here, you do another side light, however, again, your spacing was a little off. So I won't give you too much discredit for this either, because I can see what you're trying to do. However, the execution was a little bad. Here, you do an Ensig. I'm honestly surprised that this didn't hit. Actually, no, I'm not, because you did it a little too early. So, again, with this, the idea is great. However, the execution is a little off. Again, want to check spacing. And here, you do a Nair, even though he's on the platform. He's nowhere near Nair range. So, I'm going to be aware of that. Here, you do a dash into a stomp. I assume that you wanted to dash below the platform and do a stomp. In that case, I wouldn't give you too much discredit for that, as platforms in this game are really bad and it's just bad. So, I won't give you too much discredit for that. Now, in terms of playing the game, in playing this game, you could have done a lot of things a lot better, because as you could see, you had like a 3-stock lead. He took a stock off you, which isn't that bad, but you're even stocks now. You had a great lead, but however, due to your mistakes, you were led to a pretty close game. So here you pick up a gadget. Gadgets are bad. I will always say that. Gadgets are bad, gadgets are bad, gadgets are bad. And there you pick up the lance. There you do a side light. Here you could have done you should have done a dare instead of a stare. Stare. I won't give you too much credit for that. There you do a recovery, even though he's behind you, which he punishes you for. You have to be aware of recovery's angle, as it's a very weird angle, so just be aware of that. And here he does, which you punish him for, which is good. You do, this is an optimal punish. See here, this was an optimal punish. You downlight into pokes, I'm pretty sure is true. I don't play Lance, so I wouldn't know, but it's still good. See, this whole thing was great. This whole thing was great. And all of this started off from a punish. Here, you punish him, you do pokes, you do a jump read. You see that he jumps. So, this overall was a great thing. This should be all your gameplay and what it implements. Here, you were clearly able to detect the hitboxes of your neutral sig, and you were also able to tell where your opponent's going to be and where your attack's going to land. So that was very good. Now you kind of throw this play in the dust as you throw away your lance, even though there's no weapon spawns, and you attempt to hit him when you could have had lance, which could have much easily hit him. So you kind of threw away your lance for no reason. Here he gets a sig off, which that's that. Here he makes a jump read. So just be aware of your dodges. Here you do a GC side sig. But like, you're in the air, he's on the ground. I don't see why you did this, but like, in terms of just being floaty, which is like I guess you're like the goal of playing like that, you can delay you can delay your landing time by I don't really know the specifics, but like you can hang in the air for a little while if you just delay your jumps. There's no need to use a SIG or a GC to get back on stage, or not get back on stage, but to stay in the air. So there's really no need for that. So you doing that just wastes a dodge and also puts you in a vulnerable spot. Here, he can see that you're trying to get a weapon, which you do, which you fake him out. Here, you could have done a side blade, but instead you do a side sig, which it did work. However, if he had keen reaction time, he could wait. Hold on, let me see if he uses a dodge here. Nope, he doesn't use a dodge, which he could have easily dodged, I believe. And here you almost get the kill, but you throw the weapon again. You throw a bomb at him, which doesn't work. Gadgets are bad. Gadgets are bad. Gadgets are bad. You could have kept your hammer. You could have kept the stage control. Could have pressured him more. Here you jump. You dodge. I won't blame you for this dodge, as you could have easily gotten hit. I don't understand. Wait, hold on. Let me turn on hitboxes actually. Yeah, that's a little misplay on your part. Anyway, here you do another side light, even though he's not even near your range, and then you do a side sig, which you're out of range to do. Scarlet side sig is kind of slow, so you want to use that at weary times, typically at a close distance where you're sure that's gonna hit. Here you do an N sig or GC N sig, which wasn't optimal as he wasn't even in that direction. There you could have punished him. I could see you tried punishing him with a dare, which is good. However, your landing time was a little bad. There you do a downlight into pokes. Downlight into pokes isn't true. However, pokes into downlight is true. So if you ever want to use downlight, just keep in mind that pokes into downlight is true. I think that's a low percent stuff. So here you do a nair, which I won't give you too much discredit for, but it is a little off. And here you do another D-light, even though he's not even in that direction. And then you finish him off, I think. No, yeah. Then you for some reason, now say this player was actually skilled and survived this. You doing this N-sig right here would have given him free opportunity to get stage control back. Therefore, you'd lose stage control and he could potentially punish you for that. And if he was wary of his options, he could easily kill you for that. So, giving a general consensus of the whole match. Practice spacing. Try to use less SIGs, as SIGs are more of a killer option instead of just an option that you can just use willy-nilly. Try to focus on where your opponent's actually going to be rather than just expecting them to be in a certain spot. Go for more optimal punishes, and I'm pretty sure that's it. So I'm gonna keep this on YouTube so you can look back, but yeah, I plan on doing that anyway. So okay. Okay, here's a Yumiko match. Okay.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Okay. So, here, Sergeant, your start was fairly good. However, you kind of ruined that start by dodging. Now, I understand why you dodge. However, when it comes to a good start, you generally want to try to get the attack in first before your opponent, and you don't want to submit to an opponent's attack. So here, the optimal thing would have been to say, you could have probably done like from here. From here, you probably could have done a recovery, which would have hit him, which would have given you enough time to get the weapon. But I won't give you too much discredit for that. It's just a little thing to work on. Here, you do a side light, however you're stacked. Also, okay, so when it comes to landing a move, you also want to be aware of if you're stacked and if it lands stacked. So say in the situation, the most optimal move here would be a reverse end light, as end light hits grounded. So if you would have done end light here, it would have landed. However, side sig was a little off, and the execution was a little bad. Here, you don't really do anything. Here, you could have done again a reverse end light, which would have easily hit him. But you kind of just stand there and let him hit you. And in this situation, you have an advantage over him. You have a weapon, he doesn't. He most likely doesn't play unarmed because he's silver. So in this situation, you probably want to get an advantage on him by using your weapon and being as aggressive as you can while being wary of where your moves go. Here, you do a D-light, which, don't get me wrong, D-light isn't a bad move. However, with spacing in mind, you kind of aimed, you didn't really hit your mark, as you can clearly see. So here, you kind of just, I notice that you do this a lot. You do the back and forth walk. You don't really want to do stuff like that. That's just wasting time. Here, you do a neutral sig, which he's at white health. A neutral sig isn't going to do anything to him. Don't do sigs at the start. Do sigs to rather get a kill off if you can see the opportunity in your sights. Here, you do a downlight when you could have just easily just floated down, and you could have done a side light. Or not a side light, a Sair. Now, I won't give you too much beef for this, because, I mean, platforms are platforms. So here, if this platform wasn't here, you'd want to, since he's doing a sig, you'd want to do a Sair, which you can easily punish him with. And then you'd gain stage control, and then you do whatever you gotta do after that. Here, you do a downlight. I don't know why you did a downlight. Downlight is generally a move that you want to use whenever you're spaced out. Whenever, say you're on the left side, your opponent's on the right side. If you're trying to, so that's called neutral, by the way. If you're trying to close the neutral, you generally want to use downlight, as it's your longest range move. Not to mention, it can just hit generally in a lot of places. So there, downlight, you don't want to use it in the air commonly. You generally want to use it grounded, as it's more of a grounded move than anything. So yeah, here you want to try to punish him here. There he does a ground pound. I don't know why he does a ground pound, but here you could have done a nair, but you do not a nair, end light, yet you do a side light. So a common thing that I've noticed is that you don't do enough nair. Nair is an essential move when it comes to bow. Nair is a move that cancels out floaters and can be optimal punishes. Here you go for the bombs, but well, not bombs, but mines or just traps. Okay, so you set down the traps. However, you missed the weapon, so he's able to get it easily. Now, to be fair, this was a little unexpected. You'd think him to grab the weapon, which he doesn't. I have no clue why. He does it. He does an light here, but he misses. And here, you didn't do anything. Here, you could have done a Sair, a reverse Sair, and it would have easily hit him. Notice how you have no hits. It's because you're not doing anything that's optimally punishing him. Not to mention, you're not really taking up many chances. Here, you run straight into his punches. Here, at this point right here, you should clearly be able to see that he's punching. Here, you just run into it, and you fall into his end light. Here, he picks up the weapon. You pass him. You pause for a second, and then you do a side light. Now, to be fair, though you did hit it, you would have been much better off if you wouldn't have paused and you would have just done a side light there. As if you did a side light there, you could have then sidelight, downlight into Sair, which would have gotten him off stage, gaining stage control. So here you kind of stopped here. I assume that you didn't really know what he was gonna do, so you kind of passed him. Now, though this worked, you just want to be aware of what your options are. So just be aware of that. Here you use Nair. Now, to be fair, I can see this as a dodge read, which isn't a bad thing. However, I mean, you can't really tell where opponent. Okay, so when it comes to this situation, actually, something I've been trying to learn as a plat player is you want to like when the match first starts and when you're able to land strings, you want to see where your opponent dodges. You want to gain common knowledge on where your opponent's going to dodge. Here, he dodged towards the left. So, like, say I'm playing and I see that he dodges to the left, you just want to keep a mental note on that and say, hey, if I do a string, he could potentially dodge left again. And if he doesn't, you want to look at the other direction that he dodges, and you want to take advantage of that. Here, you do an N-sig, a GC N-sig, which you didn't hit your mark again, because he's down on the floor, you're in the air, which isn't optimal, because he can easily punish you for that. Which luckily he doesn't do anything. He seems kind of stumped. He could have easily done a sidelight here, and I'm pretty sure he would have gained priority. However, you do hit a Sair here, and then you follow up with a sidelight into. This is good. However, in this case with Bo, he could have either dodged, which he didn't, and you want to get quicker with your jumps, because here you could have done a dash jump, which would have been a lot faster, and you would have hit him just a lot faster. Here you dodge for no reason. Be aware of when you use your dodges. Use your dodges wisely. And here you get punished for using your dodge. Here you do a downlight, or not downlight, down sig. You commonly want to use that as the ground, as it's generally a grounded move that you place on the floor. So you don't really want to do it in the air. Here you do a spike here. I don't know why you did this, because being on the floor just. Anyway, here you do a ground pound, but okay. So I see that you said you dodged for a burst. Dodging doesn't get you a boost. Wait, hold on. Where's the dodge again? You dodged earlier. Okay. So here, instead of dodging, you would have been much better off if you would have, say, landed on the platform and then just ran. If you would have ran on the platform and then gained stage control by going towards the center, it would have been much faster than a dodge. You never want to use your dodge for a boost. That's not what dodges are meant for. Dodges are meant to get you out of, say, a string or combo that you're stuck in, and to get you out of situations. It's not a movement tool. It's a get out of jail card. That's what it is. That's the whole reason it has invincibility frames. Here you do ground pound. You never want to do ground pound on stage, as it literally just leads to punishes. But anyway, here he jumps, which you wanna analyze what he's doing. Now, while keeping an eye on yourself, you also want to keep your eye on the opponent. Say you could probably just get quick glances at him. Just be aware of what he's trying to go for, what he's trying to do, and you can get the optimal punishes that way. Here he does this. I'm pretty sure it's true. I'm pretty sure it was unavoidable. Actually, I should check. Hold on. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that was true. Anyway, so there you get. Okay, hold on. You get this Nair off. He goes down. You could have easily punished him by doing another Nair. I'm pretty sure if you did a Nair here, you'd have more priority. However, okay then. Here, AK, just tell Sargent. Oh wait, he has me muted. AK, just tell Sargent that he can watch the stream in his own time while I keep on commentating on it. So just let him know that, and yeah, I'm gonna keep on going, but he should be able to watch the stream later. Anyway, so here Sergeant does a side sig, which wasn't optimal. He's in the air, and you're in that side sig just isn't optimal. So just be aware of that. Here he does that. This is what got me psyched up. Okay, so he does a recovery. You want to try to get back to stage. I noticed that you jump and you do another ground pound. Again, ground pounds on stage aren't good. So there, he punishes you again, and he gets the kill off. Here, this could have been easily avoided if you would have played more floatier. You could have moved more towards the left and right. You know, you could have evaluated where he's going, and you could have just avoided it way easier other than doing a ground pound, because ground pound leaves you in a lot of end lag, and end lag is not good. So just be aware of that. Here, I'm just gonna sit forward so we can get this over with. I'm gonna look at how you kill him and see if it's a red kill. Okay. Just keeping. Actually, I should probably watch over this because you're using hammer here. Okay, let me see when you get hammer. Oh, okay, turn off gadgets. Turn off gadgets. I repeat, turn off gadgets, please. Okay, so here, you go for a dare, which works. In these situations, dare would be optimal. You generally want to be right above your opponent. And with the way that dare works, depending on the direction that they're in, it'll swoop them. So here, you got the correct swoop. You were able to get him up. Here, instead of doing a GC neutral sig, you could have done either a recovery or a reverse. I believe it'd have to be a reverse nair, because I do this all the time, but like, you want to ensure that you're not just doing a dare and then you want to have a follow-up. If you want to land recovery, or not recovery, NSIG, you want to have a follow-up that's tied to the recovery and can lead to it. So say for me, I'd do I usually do down sig over the edge of stage. If they run into it, I do a nair, and then after that nair, I try to see where they're going and then do an end sig. So in these cases, you know, you just want to be aware again of where your sigs are going and where the hitboxes are for sigs. Here, you do a dare. I'm surprised that this works, honestly, because it actually, not really that surprised. Anyway, here you go on the dare. You go for a Sair. Now, in these cases, Sair isn't the most optimal options. As you can see, this hitbox, it just isn't that good. Nair has a much better hitbox, so here you would have been much better off doing Nair instead of Sair. Here you do a down sig. Down sig is more of a grounded option that you want to do on the ground. Yumiko is a fairly grounded character. She's a character that is able to set things while generally playing grounded with more grounded weapons. Bow and hammer are more grounded weapons. Here, you try to go for another side, and you try to go for another side light, which I won't give you too much discredit for. However, in terms of this, spacing would have been much more accountable for. Here, you do a stomp, and then you do a ground pound, which he could have easily punished you for, and you do another dare, which he's not even near you for, or you did it right here, and then you do another dare, and you miss, and then you hesitate a little bit. When it comes to hammer, you want to be able to apply pressure as much as you can. So in terms of these cases, you want to be as aggressive as possible, as hammer's a weapon that can generally hit you from a long distance and has a decent amount of priority, not a lot, not too much, but a decent amount. So here you just want to be aggressive, not too passive. You want to be in between. Here you do a dodge. I won't give you too much discredit for this because I'm actually you probably wouldn't have gotten hit. However, I can see why you dodged because this is a very Is it? No, he probably couldn't follow up after that. So here you do a recovery, even though the recovery isn't necessary. Here you could have landed back on the floor and you could have done something after that. Say he dashed towards you, could have done a downlight into Sair. Here you could have done a downlight into Dare, depending on the direction you're in, and a downlight into Nair if you really wanted to. And you don't want to do a recovery. Recovery is saved for the most important moments, which are off stage. So just be aware of that. Here you do another Dare. I notice a lot that you use Dare a lot on Hammer. Hammer Dare is a move that has to be used as a follow-up. It has to. Unless you can see clearly where your opponent's going, it has to be a follow-up. Say you do Downlight Dare. Downlight Dare is the perfect way to land Dare if you truly want to land Dare. You cannot just throw out Dares and expect them to land, as this hitbox is so small. Look at this hitbox. Hitbox is horrible. Anyway, here you do a side light. However, he punishes you for the side light, and here you could have done actually you couldn't really do anything here. If you really wanted to get technical, you could do a GC downlight into a GC downlight dash into recovery, which is the starter for Russian Mafia. I highly suggest that you learn that because it's a pretty great option for Hammer if you need it. Specifically the downlight into recovery. That option is just really great for everything. Here he does a recovery. He doesn't really punish you. However, he goes down. I won't give you too much discredit for this Sair, as it's you could have hit it if you wouldn't have done a ground pound, which is unexpected because ground pound is just a weird thing to do on stage in general. Here you do another dodge, even though he clearly he isn't able to hit you as he just got done doing a ground pound. So you dodge kind of for no reason, so be aware of where you're dodging again. Here you do a side light, but okay, so in certain cases like these, this is something I like to do. Basically, I like to do a really quick dash. Okay, so say I'm landing on a platform. I like to do a really quick dash, and then I turn around and do a Sair. Sair is such a long-range move that if you would have just turned around here and would have done a Sair, you would have easily knocked him off stage, giving you stage control. So in terms of you want to keep your distance with Hammer and know that you are able to hit stuff in certain distances that other weapons can't. Say guitars, gauntlets, etc. Now here he does a recovery, or not a recovery, a ground pound, which if you would have been a little quicker when it comes to doing the side light, you could do. Actually, here, when it comes to doing a side light, you commonly want to dash as you're doing a side light. That gives you more distance, and plus it gives you a longer range to go towards, and you would have easily hit him here, and you could have gotten somewhat of an optimal punish here. Here you do a neutral sig. I have no clue why you did a neutral sig here. He isn't in the air. He's off stage. I guess in terms of a jump read. However, that jump read doesn't really apply as he's off stage, not giving him the option to even jump. So here he does a recovery, but you waste the opportunity by doing a dare, which kind of ruins your chances when you could have done a nair here, and it could have killed. But it probably wouldn't. But it gave you a chance to juggle, and it also gave you stage control. So to be aware of that. Here you run past him, you dodge, panic dodge, understandable. Try not to panic dodge. Only dodge if absolutely necessary. I guess I can understand those since you're silver. I'm not expecting everything out of you. Here you do the optimal. Actually, it's still an optimal punish. It's still a side light. Here you throw the weapon. You only want to throw the weapon if they're all the way down on the stage. Or not all the way down on the stage, all the way down off the stage, or at a point where throwing your weapon would actually make sense, to the point where you can get another weapon just as fast as throwing it. So in this situation, you probably should have not thrown your weapon, and you could have actually done, like, say, a sidelight here, or you could have just tried to gain stage control by covering his offstage options here. So instead of throwing your weapon here, it would have been much more optimal if you would have kept it and took in your options from there. But here you do a sidelight. It's a good move to use to, you know, get them off you if they're close up. But here, okay, this is just a dumb play on his part. Here you do a GC side sig. I won't give you too much discredit for this, as it worked, and silver players are like that. But yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna continue. So I noticed that you lost this game too, so I'm just gonna look at your deaths instead of looking through the whole thing, because I'm pretty sure we found out your problems already, and you can just watch back if you need to. So here you do a really early recovery. You only want to recover early when you've established that you've done other options. So whenever you're off stage, whenever you want to recover back to stage, you generally want to try to find different methods to get back on stage. This could be dodging inwards, dodging more above, going in through wall hugging, or getting off the edge, or just recovering high. In this case, this was like your first option. You never want recovering high to be your first option, as recovering high can lead to some fairly bad situations. So just be aware of that. Now here you do the dare. If you would have spaced out a little bit more, you would have hit it. But anyway, he kills you for this. And here, I'm just going to scroll over to your death again. Okay, so here you do a ground pound again. Ground pounds are not optimal on stage. Luckily, he didn't punish you for it, which resulted in a clash. Here you do another ground pound, which wasn't the smart decision, as he's clearly able to see that you're doing another one, getting the kill off this time instead of resulting in a clash, leading to you dying. So, all in all, again, like I said previously, you have to be aware of where your SIGs are going, aware of where all your general moves are going. Learn strings that are optimal, learn strings that are somewhat true, learn strings that have low dodge windows, and be aware of where you're dodging, and just all in all, just be aware of what you as a person are doing and where your opponent is. I'm pretty sure that's all I need to say. You can rewatch this and go over what I say, write it down, do whatever you got to do. Hopefully this will help you improve. I'm not the best instructor in the planet, so I just hope this helps, and yeah, I hope you take this this time into consideration, as I see that you want to improve. So I hope you take this VOD into consideration and actually watch through it. But if you don't, it is what it is. So yeah.